Welcome back, people, to another episode of The Rebuild. Now, you guys are falling behind a little bit. And by you guys, I mean us. We haven't really been filming a whole lot. So, time to catch you up. First, let's go inside. Not much has been done in there, but we got some pedals. We got our clutch. That's working. We got our brake. There's no fluid in it, but that's working. Look at this. We got our brake master in, and right below it we got our clutch master in with the reservoir, and we've got all the lines set up. We don't have the front brake lines done. That's this right here. We've got our brake switch signal in here, but yeah, there's gonna be two lines on the bottom here, both for the front brakes. Rear brakes go to this. This is our brake distributor or brake bias, and that runs down there. It's kind of hard to see, but we've got fuel lines set up right there. Look at that. So we've got fuel lines, brake lines to the back set up. There's a lot going on here, and then we've got our lightning wire. We're not going to use these because the clearance is, well, it's going to be tight in there. It's going to scratch the paint. We don't want to do that. So we're going to get some 90s for those. Radiators in. Probably didn't show you guys that, but it's in. We've got the reservoir in too for that. I'll lift up the car, show you guys the underside with the brake lines. It's looking good. All right, so underneath the car, and one injury later, literally don't even know how that happened. Anywho, so I think we already showed you guys transmission already mounted up. It's looking good, and we've already shown you the brake, parking brake cable, and we've got that in. We've got both the parking brakes in. We got the front parking brake cable in, and look at that. We've got our clutch slave in. It's working good. Oh, it's got a little bit of a leak. Look at that. I believe we are going to replace this with a braided line, so hopefully that takes care of that. Gas lines in with our brake lines running all the way to the back. We were able to reuse some of the original hardware that held it in. Another big thing, we've got our giant drive shaft. Aluminum, 3-inch. Look at that. Whew. Sexy. So this thing is going to be a professional hot rod, just without the professional part. I guess I probably could take this off and show you guys the drum brakes. We got the drum brakes all set up. Those are done. If you know what drum brakes look like, you don't need to see the inside of that. It's done. Just trust me. You guys have probably already seen the gas tank in, but again, with the fuel lines being run, we've got our fuel pump. This is the intake for the fuel pump. Then it goes out. This is the return line. We just kind of soldered in a little nipple for the return because it didn't have one. And then the intake line goes through here. This is our fuel filter right there, and then it just goes to the front. Still got to put in the lines for the air shocks, but we'll get to that. But yeah, so that's pretty much the catching up. We're gonna put some sound deadener in here, which isn't really sound deadener. Junkyard Digs, he made a video not too long ago that explains it really well of what this actually does. It doesn't actually kill the sound, it just stops the reverberation in the metal. And we got a whole lot of metal. So we're gonna be putting some of this in, and this stuff is expensive. This is the least expensive out of all of them, KiLMAT. So we're using this stuff. We got 2 big packs. There's no one in that box. I think this is 80 square feet, something like that, for 1 pack. So we're gonna go around with that, and we're not just laying it on thick, because you can do that, but then you're just wasting a whole lot. What you can do is just put little strips and kind of space it out. That's what we're gonna do on the roof. So we're gonna space it out instead of just doing 5 full pads. We're gonna cut them into little strips and space them out. It has the same exact effect, and you're using a lot less material. Also, putting some in the doors, that's also a good idea. A little bit everywhere, and it should be good. Fingers crossed. Look at that money shot. It's done, kind of. But if you guys remember what it sounded like before, this is it now. Better? Sides are, that's pretty good. Although this is pretty thick metal. So that's gonna be quiet. Put a little bit up here. I was gonna put some up here, but after Googling a couple images, the trunk mats, so the carpet that goes back here, does not go up on the wheel well. And then I was like, okay, well, so I'm not gonna put any there. Then I was like, well, what about over here? Well, that's apparently all exposed too, and you can get inserts that go across here to kind of cover that off, and might do that. Might also not. They're like $40 for both, but what I am gonna do is put some on the top side here, because you're not gonna be able to see that no matter what. And that is like a bass drum. That's loud. So hopefully, just gonna run a big strip along the entire top side of this on both sides, and hopefully that gets rid of that or minimizes it. It's not gonna get rid of it, but hopefully minimizes it. It's done. I did it. It's in there. Did it do anything? I don't know, you tell me. I think the problem here is that there's so much metal that this is connected to that isn't covered, that's still just reverberating. And so that's, you know, it's still, but it maybe cut it down a little bit. Whoa, that was crazy. Anywho, where have you guys been? We've done a lot since I've last recorded. That's my fault. That's whatever. I'll give you a little rundown of what we've done since putting in the sound deadening. Because we've done quite a bit. First things first, we've got a throttle cable hooked up. Look at that. And well, it's not hooked up fully yet, but we've got the contraptioning. So we've got a blower, a thingamajigger, and then we got a box here for the computer. And then, jeepers, this is what the Paycheck Monster has been doing. This is what he's been up to. So, got the battery in, got the alternator hooked up, and got the starter in. So we've done a little bit. Wow. Well, yeah, done a little bit. Got a little bit more to go. And by a little bit, I mean lots of bits. We got holes to fill, and we've got a piece to fill said hole. As always, another successful welding attempt. No, I hate this shit. Welding sucks. A t-shirt, not the best for welding, gotta say. I'm already white as is, but you can see those are all little burns. And also, oh, what happened there? A guy might have caught on fire. Only once though. But yeah, I was welding, and then I started smelling something. I'm like, oh, what's that smell? And then I started feeling something on my arm. I looked over, oh, I'm on fire. It patted it out, whatever. And then I really like these pants.
There's a little hole right there. Golly, I actually set the welder down on my leg.
Here it is. I'm not gonna touch it. I was just about to. I was gonna go, whoop, start pointing. Actually, for my welds, hey, yeah, that's something. We come down here, I'm gonna come back to the underside here when I actually have something that won't catch on fire. Cause that's how I did it. I was under here and I caught on fire. So, but hey, listen, there's some spots that are noteworthy. That's decent. All along here, I've seen worse and I've done worse. And like the old adage goes, a grinder in paint makes me the welder I ain't.
All right, guys, it's a new day. It's Saturday. It's time to run some wiring for this engine. I got a few things done the other day when I was in here. We've kind of started on running some wires from the fuse panel inside. We got a whole kit, basically, to run, or I should say rewire the whole car. So it comes with the fuse box, and then each loop is for a circuit. So you'll have a rear circuit, instrument panel circuit, and then a front like engine bay compartment. So yeah, we're just kind of sorting through that stuff. We do have to wire in a computer. I don't know if Casey showed you, but we got this box here. It's kind of semi-weather proof, except for when I drilled a hole in the bottom, but the cover is sealed. So that's kind of where the computer is gonna lie. Again, this is from a 1998 Explorer. So if you knew where the ECM is located on an Explorer, it's not usually, it is right up in here on a 98 Explorer. So yeah, we're gonna have to kind of figure out how to get that ECM harness up here, basically rewire everything. Now we did turn that throttle body. I don't know if you guys saw that. So right now, the throttle position sensors on the side, this would be turned like this. So with that throttle turned the way it is, you can see idle air connectors way down here. Trying to make it a little bit cleaner. So yeah, let me show you the harness that needs to go in there. I'm just gonna pull this plenum off, probably tape the intake, and then I'll lay that harness in here, and it'll kind of show what all I need to change here. So I'll just kind of lay this in here how it would normally go on an Explorer. Without trying to make a mess everywhere. This harness is dirty. So basically, that's kind of the gist of it there. We got our injector harness here, coils right here. Again, we move the coils straight back. So, you know, we got to rewire that. This is all, not sure what this is. Oh, this would go down to the air cleaner for intake air temp and mass airflow sensor, which is cut off. This is our alternator. But yeah, you kind of get the gist of it. The computer would normally be like up in here, is where it would be through the firewall, bolted in. So yeah, we got to get this all torn apart, stripped down to bare wires, and see if we can't route it down here this way, and then just to the ECM harness, or ECM here. So yeah, I got a few hours here that I can start doing this. So I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, and I'm gonna crank up some music and then just start trying to figure out how this is gonna work. So yeah, we got you know, this is our internal harness there. We're not gonna use any of that really, I don't think. We'll kind of have to study the wire diagram and just see what's all in here. There might be some keep alive memory and ECM powers and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we're gonna get started here and see what happens. Well, there she is so far. A couple hours into it here. Took me longer to actually cut the old harness apart and get all the wiring out of it. But yeah, I just labeled a bunch of wiring here. There's a bunch we don't use because the 98 Explorer was an automatic, so we don't use any of the automatic transmission wiring. There is, it's kind of a pain in the butt because this whole harness would be flipped over. So I thought maybe I could kind of, you know, work it so we could use most of the harness the way it was, but a lot of these wires are just too short to make it to the ECM here. So it's actually a longer run this way. And crank sensor though, I mean, we got miles of wiring because obviously that computer belongs over there, so it's just kind of backwards on some of this wiring here. So yeah, just kind of an update here. It's going to take some time. Just trying to figure out everything, how to arrange it and make it fit the best. So yeah, we'll get this done a different day, and we'll show you what it looks like. It's been a while since we've had that fender on there.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got to work on? Trying to get this to fit?
Pretty much.
So this has already had a patch panel put in it, but this is kind of, the fender does not match the other side. You got a little pinhole there, a couple of them. Looks way different with the fenders on it. It's been a while since we've had that fender on. At least it looks like a car with the fender on. But yeah, here's the other fender. You can see how kind of rounded it is there. The other side isn't too far off. We can massage it, I think. Is that your plan? Massaging the fender?
Something like that.
Now that you got it all, the underside all welded, the body and everything.
Well, I do have to make a little kind of U shape, so then you can bolt it to the underside of where we just patched.
Oh, for the fender, you mean?
Yeah, because it's got a bolt on the bottom here.
Yeah.
So I have to rig that up. That's why I got it on, just so I can see how much space.
I mean, you would have to look pretty close to see that that fender doesn't quite match the other one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit of a, that one's got more of an arc there than this does. We'll work on it, see what we can do. Get a tab welded on there so we can attach it back on there.
That should be pretty good.
Yeah. And then you can start on the, pulling all the wiring out underneath the dash. You can stand on your head. I don't want to do that. I've been doing this stuff. Got kind of a nest of wiring there. Yeah. Spent a couple hours on it last weekend. Needs a few more hours. Another week or so, hopefully this thing is running.
Hope so.
Depends on how much time I have to actually finish that.
It's a car.
It's a car. It's not a done car yet, but
Pretty close.
to be continued.
Ooh. Look at that, people. Wires. So, he's been working on the engine. That. Wiring up that. Now, I don't know what I'm doing in that department, so I've been doing something a little bit more my speed. So I've been tearing down the dash, like everything. We got a couple new holes. Boom, boom, what? New holes. These are good holes though. That means that our wiring harness for the inside is out. Inside wiring harness is out. Now it's time to put the new wiring harnesses in. Front, cabin, and rear. That's... I hate wiring, I hate diagrams, I hate electrical. That sucks. Alright people, so I found something a little funny on this I wanted to share. So you know how I said I found the green wire, which was the brake, and how that's all gone. Well, no, that's not the brake. But if you can see in there, that's just held in there by the fuse. And if I just give it a good old little, oh, yeah, that's a strong connection. Talking about another strong connection, you can look up here, you guys probably can't see it, that says radio. So this is the fuse for the radio. Well, this yellow wire that is hooked to this red wire, that's just twisted on there. Again, another great electrical connection. Oh, that wasn't even supposed to happen. Anywho, that they just put in this and just stuck that in the fuse slot.
You're really that optimistic, huh?
Cranks. It should work. And if it doesn't, then I only have you to blame.
We get a couple tries at this, right? If we don't succeed the first time, we try and try again.
Well, it's not leaking gas, so that's off to the...
We also don't have fuel pressure yet, so.
True.
All right, what are we doing?
Hooking up the battery and
Hooking up the battery, seeing if we got...
cranking the key.
Suppose we can plug this in if we want to crank it over, huh? Are you nervous?
A little bit. Because I have a feeling it's probably not going to work, because that's usually how it goes, but I also really want it to work.
Well, if it doesn't start, we'll just, you know...
Cry.
Well, there might be some wires that maybe that I need to hook up differently or something, but...
We'll see.
That's a good sign. The fuel pump ran for a while. Cycle back off. Cycle it back on. Back off. Back on. Do it a couple times because we don't have fuel pressure yet. I hear the fuel pump working now.
Yeah.
Like it's priming itself or something. Still don't have anything on the gauge though. Gosh, you would have thought we would have had some kind of fuel pressure by now. All right, let's see if we can crank it over and get some fuel pressure. Be ready to shut it off though if I tell you, all right?
Yeah. Ready?
Start cranking.
This is more than 30.
Yeah, it's 30 pounds. Yeah, that's 30. You gotta read the other gauge, PSI.
Yeah.
So, little update. Our fuel pump, controlled by the ECM, cuts out because it set a code for the theft deterrent. So, we bypassed the relay, jumped the relay. We got fuel pressure now, 30 pounds. should we, I'll jump the relay and you crank it over, I guess. See what happens.
Let's try it.
All right, you hop in there. I'll jump the relay.
Okay.
Again, just be ready to shut it off if need be. Pin 30 and 87. Try it again. Try it again. Okay, so I'm betting it takes more than just fuel. Let's see if we have any spark here. Go ahead. Okay. Let's I'm guessing the injectors are not firing either then. Let's look at the scan tool and see what that says. I think today is the day we're going to start this. Cross my fingers. Today the day?
I don't know. Hopefully.
I may have got some wiring figured out. Turns out that, yeah, we had to switch the computer over to a 1997 Explorer because our old computer was a 98 and it was tripping a PATS code. So, yeah, she wouldn't start. Good news is, I got fuel pressure. She cranks over. I didn't have spark. That was my fault because I forgot to hook up a wire to the coil. So, yeah. I got my little test lead in here. We're just gonna run that to a battery and see what happens. Are you ready?
Are we doing this now? I just got here. I have no idea what's going on.
I say we do it. Turn the key. Let's see what happens. She's either gonna go or she's gonna blow. Or maybe do nothing.
Or both.
I'm hopeful. I kind of rechecked everything. We can get in there with the scanner and check and make sure we have a crank sensor. You know, it's reading RPM. All the temp sensors are reading. Mass airflow sensor, intake air temp is all reading. So at this point, when I was cranking it over, also with the new computer, I can smell fuel. So at this point, I think the injectors are actually triggering. Let's do it. Hop in there.
Okay.
Let's crank it over, see what happens. Hook up the battery first.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Make sure my power lead is not touching anything here. Just turn it on. Ooh, that's a better sound, isn't it?
Well, that.
You nervous?
It's an engine.
I'm a little nervous. Right, if we did it right the second time, I think she should start. It may take a while. It may take a while to crank over and start, but we'll see.
Here we go. Oh.
Oh, you know what? I wired in your neutral switch.
Oh.
Make sure that shifter's in.
Hey, there we go.
Is she in neutral?
No. Here we go. It doesn't have
Yes.
exhaust on it.
Yes. Holy crap.
That is loud.
Holy. Oh. We got some fire in there. That makes me feel real good. Why'd you shut it off so soon? You're nervous as hell, aren't you?
A little bit.
I did not think it was going to start up that soon.
I didn't either.
That took me by surprise. Holy smokes.
I guess we know that it's a good engine then.
Well, yeah. I don't know how good it's running because it's louder than hell, but holy crap. I'm kind of shaking. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm like, holy, I was not expecting that. Nice. All right, so we can pretty much just finalize some wiring here. We do have to worry about some AC compressor wiring here. This looks like crap, but we have to just get it all tidied up with some wire loom and should look a lot better.
Hopefully one of the hardest parts is done.
Whew, what'd you put for fuel in there? She smells good.
Premium.
It's very, very potent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hell yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. We only had one wire. That was basically, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I cut it off the splice back there for some reason, and that's the main power to the coil. So, and then the computer was the other issue. We weren't having, the fuel pump would just run for just a short bit, like
a second.
yeah, just a second. And it would not run after you were cranking the engine either. So we kind of knew that the theft deterrent had set, and it was affecting fuel pump. It was affecting fuel injectors for sure. And then, like I said, I don't know if it would do anything with the coils or not. That was kind of my bad. So, yeah, we got to figure it out. I can't wait to hear it with exhaust on it.
That was just that idle too. Imagine if we open it up a little bit.
Well, it's that high idle because, yeah, you just started it.
But
I mean, I feel like she was running on all 8 cylinders there, because. So you must have did a good job of getting the spark plug routing correct and the wires.
and you doubted me.
Well, I just wanted you to make sure that they were in the right spot before we had to cut every one of these wires and put a 90 on it because they're so tight, except one. That one we didn't. It's kind of hard around the oil dipstick, so we left it with the 45 on there. So tomorrow we're going to work on the rest of the interior wiring. Probably won't get all that done tomorrow. We'll see. And then you were going to do something with the back seat.
Yeah. So apparently upholstery places, they're two years out on jobs. So we're having to do the rear bench seat ourselves. There's not a single place online that sells a 63 Fairlane bench seat, 4-door seat cover. Doesn't exist. So we got a 64 Fairlane 500 seat cover. I think it's gonna fit. It should be the same exact body style, same dimensions. So we got that cover, and we got some foam and fabric from Joann Fabric. So we're gonna have to get a little artsy and craftsy with that. And if it doesn't look good, I just throw a blanket over it, and that'll be good enough.
There you go. I think we can handle that. Freaking awesome, man. Love it. Love it. This is gonna sound so good with exhaust on it. Dual exhaust. Nice. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. So that's something you don't see every day. How was that, pulling the foam off the seats?
I don't want to do it again. That stunk. It was bad.
It did stink. It smells better now that she painted it.
Yeah.
It smelled a little bit like urine.
The paint smells better than the piss. Who would have thought?
So it's 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
This guy needs a beer.
I need some Fireball.
Let's bring your seat bases and back, and then we'll start on them tonight or tomorrow.
Either or. We'll see what happens.
I think we can handle it tonight.
This should dry pretty quick.
Yeah.
Spray it in.
Head home. It's a little bit more relaxed in the garage. Have a couple beers. Turn the tunes on. See how far we get on recovering these seats. The back seat, anyway. All right, let's go.
Here we go. One for the bottom, one for the top. This is some measurement by some measurement. Inch thick.
Huh.
So
Sounds about right.
I think it's 24 by 70 something.
You know, this makes it sound like we don't know what the hell we're doing.
We don't really.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Well, they're gonna find out eventually.
That's right.
Facts are facts.
We're not professionals at upholstery. We're gonna give it the old college try.
No.
Maybe we should get some help. I have just a thing.
Just the thing.
Yep. Oh, plenty of help. Let's grab this one. That'll do. Okay, where do we start?
Well,
You want to do the top or the bottom?
we can do the top. I feel like that might be easier.
Top is over here.
Yep.
Grab a side.
I think your beer's gonna be in the way.
Oh. It's hard to find good help.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. 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 When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it. Many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They say no to sleepless night. Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sunrise, when the sun rises.
Dude, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, for a couple of non-upholstery guys, she needs to flatten out a little bit. She's a little cold.
She'll work.
I think so. Yeah. Put her out in the sun. She'll kind of flatten out and conform.
Oh, looks really good.
Here's the back. Not much sun out here to flatten it out. Yeah. Pretty sweet.
You know, they told us they're all the upholstery places 2 years out. We did it in 1 day. Not even. This is like half a day.
They would have had to make the cover. We just bought the covers and put them on, but
This isn't even the right cover. This is for a Fairlane 500, a 64 even. We still made it fit.
whether, yeah, it fits right, I don't know. We didn't have a spot on the back. One of the corners has got a pretty big burr on one of the springs. I think it's right here.
Yeah. It's not even a spring, it's just the frame.
Well, yeah, it's just, yeah, very sharp. So we got to get that taken care of and finish up on that. She'll do.
Sweet.
What's next?
Drinking?
Ooh, the boy caught my attention. I think a good cigar and a whiskey.
Yep.
What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we're gonna do that, but this is gonna be the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. We love your guys' support. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.